Okay, so the Feds hiked the interest rates again last week. So, what did that do to the Northern Virginia real estate market? Stay tuned to find out. My name is Sean Price. I am with the Price and Price Group here at eXp Realty, and this is our weekly market report. As you all know, the Feds did another interest rate hike. They hiked it up another 0.75%, and so it did have an effect. We've definitely seen a slowdown in buyer activity this week. And as you're going to see statistically, we had a big drop in buyer transactions. So keep in mind that a lot of times when there is a change, there is a little bit of an adjustment period. People will kind of back off to see what's going to happen. Certainly backing off right now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the trend continues beyond today, and then also how September was compared to September of last year, and how September was compared to August. We'll see that. We'll see that here in our end of month market report here in a couple weeks. So let's go ahead and get into the numbers. Before I do that, I will tell you that the general theme of the market has been that I've seen a couple properties that have come on that have been great properties in great condition. They've gone under contract, within a day or two with multiple offers. And I've seen other properties which were in good condition but weren't priced quite as well that are still sitting on the market. So properties are still moving as long as the condition matches the price and it's good for the market. But that window of flexibility for sellers with regards to price versus condition is certainly narrowing. You've got to be very, very skilled and very specific at making sure that you are actually setting your property at or just under market value in order to get the traffic, because you don't have as many buyers out there clamoring. Some properties are getting multiple offers again, and a lot of properties are just kind of sitting longer on the market. As far as buyer traffic is concerned, we've seen a significant reduction in phone calls over the last 5 days since the Feds announced the changes. And a little bit before that in anticipation of what they were going to do with the interest rate. So we've certainly seen a slowdown in buyer activity. As of the date of shooting this video, we have seen an uptick the last 2 days, but we're just going to have to see how this plays out and what happens long term. So let's look at where we are now and do our best to kind of decide how to move forward. Again, after I show you these numbers, if you want to discuss your personal situation, whether you're trying to invest in property and decide if it's a good time for that, or whether you are trying to buy or sell a property, let's talk. Let's figure out what your strategies are. Let's figure out what your goals are and see what the best way to approach the current market is. Okay? All right, let's get to the numbers. So, as always, buyer activity is orange, and you can see buyer activity for the last 7 days was down 33%. Inventory is blue, and you can see inventory was down 16%. So what's really interesting about this diagram, if you look all through here, you can see right here, the inventory was higher than buyer activity. Outside of that, buyer activity has consistently been higher, except for right here and right here. Buyer activity has consistently been higher than inventory. Little glitch right there and right there. So we started to see inventory and buyer activity switching around with each other. But what's important with this one is there's a significant gap, and that's the biggest gap that we've seen in quite some time. We did see a pretty good gap here, but right here we're seeing a pretty significant gap as to where buyer activity is versus inventory. So this last week, buyer activity was lower in inventory, even though it decreased, it was more. Its change was less significant than the drop in buyer activity. So if we go over here to what that means in seller's market versus buyer's market, you can see that 3 weeks ago we had a significant drop after a significant spike, and then we were flat last week, and then we had another drop this week. So we're into buyer's market territory here. Now, it's not the first time. We hit it here, we hit it here. We've hit buyer's market territory before, but let's see. This could be in response to the interest rate. So let's kind of see how this plays out. Do we continue moving in this direction? Do we continue as we have been over this period of time and just hover around that neutral market? So we're just going to have to watch, and we're going to have to see what happens over the next several weeks. If you're looking to buy right now, it's a good opportunity to buy because you're not facing as much competition, and there are properties out there that it's warranted for you to make an offer that could be below asking price. Sellers, it's still a great time to sell, to capture that equity from the last 20% or the last couple of years of that 15 to 20% of appreciation, but you have to be very strategic with it, and you have to be patient with it, but you also have to be very strategic, and you cannot be have unrealistic expectations. All right, again, happy to sit down with you, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side. Happy to sit down with you and have a strategy session to figure out what the best way to go for you is. Investors, it may be a time for you to really start thinking about, there are some properties that are not in pristine condition and that are not priced appropriately, that would have sold 6 months ago but that aren't selling right now. So there are some investment opportunities out there. So if you're thinking about investing in real estate, get in touch with me. I can help you analyze the properties and we can see what we can do with that. Okay, look forward to seeing you guys on next week's video, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Oh, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons. That really helps us get this market report out to more people. All right, have a great week, and we'll see you next week.